Get in, nerds! We are playing Victoria 3. We are still playing as Canada. This is episode 2. I don't know why I'm saying it like it's been a long time, because it hasn't been. Ooh. We have a new event available. The Canadian Pacific Railway. So we need railways in every... not every state. We need railways in Quebec, Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, Northern Colombia. That shouldn't be too hard. So far, the private sector has been pretty good about doing that, so I'm just going to kind of let that be for now. We've got capacity for companies, so let's get ourselves some companies. Let's see. With many companies attainable, that's a big agriculture throughput bonus. It's very good. Construction sector building throughput. That's really, really strong. What do we need for this? A level 10 steel mill, tooling workshop, or glassworks. Interesting. We got a state construction efficiency bonus. Birth rate bonus. Could go for this. Army offense and arms industry throughput. That one's tempting. Army offense, army defense. That's also tempting. Navy offense. That's pretty good. What else? What else? What else? What else? Oh, that's doesn't help me much. Oil company for migration attraction. Got a gold company for extra minting. That's pretty neat. Clothing company for better reduce radicals from political movements. That's pretty nice. Yeah, so I'll think about it. I could start one of these companies right now. Get the fancy paper. Let's get the fancy paper. We'll get the fancy paper company. We will give them investment rights. We can give them industry rights to our logging industry. Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. We got a lot of logging. And that'll be all we need for now. Let's take a quick look at tech. We're clearing out the tier 2s. We're doing canning, or canneries and mechanized workshops. We got baking powder spreading. That's pretty good. After that, I could go directly to chemical bleaching and then snag dynamite, which I'm tempted to do. On the other hand, I got a lot of stuff in the tier 2s in military that I would like to snag. A lot of stuff in the tier 2 in social that would be very useful for me. Particularly pharmaceuticals. I think maybe... yeah, I think maybe we snag pharmaceuticals. Do I want central banking? I kind of do. No. I don't need it that bad. Then we grab... nah. Then we do the military stuff. We do general staff, logistics to triage. We knock out the remainder of the tier 2s in the naval side. Power of the purse is for sure going to be done before that. And then we snag shell gun up to breech loading artillery. Shell gun may spread. One of these other ones may spread to me depending on how it goes. And that'll put us more ahead in military. And that'll be good. So I got a lot of barracks under construction in various locations. I'm currently supporting construction in Ontario, and that makes sense. Cash flow's a little loopy, and I got a bit of a gold reserve. I did just build another construction sector. Oh, and I got a construction sector in Oregon that's on wood frames. Let's put that over to iron frame as well. Now, come on, combination X. Nice. Now, do I build another construction sector right away? I think the answer is maybe. The answer is we're going to go with a resounding maybe. I've got that government sector in the works in Quebec, don't I? No, I don't. Interesting. Where's Ontario at for taxation capacity? Ontario's also short on taxation capacity. Wow. Dang, I really need more tax cap in both of these places. Okay. Do I want an additional construction sector in Quebec? I'm putting a lot of eggs in a Quebec-shaped basket. That probably won't be a mistake long term. Let's do it. Oop. Wait, hold on. Now we're spending a lot. Alright, we'll leave that be. I think maybe I at least throw this one at the top. Because this is going to get done real fast. And I think I'll do the other one as well at the same time. So I think... Yeah, and then there's the investment pool building another building. A logging camp, they're building it in West Bengal. I may have goobered myself with my... Americans colonizing Utah. That doesn't impact me whatsoever. Alright, so we're going to have our fertilizer plant. And that's going to help our... hold on. Located in Canada. There we go. Beautiful. Are you still... Yeah, you still don't want to be producing liquor. Which is fine. No shade on that. Okay, my autonomy has been reduced. It is what it is. Time of Alexander Wemp has ended. We've still got our company. John MacDonald is the new governor of Canada. Oh, that's exciting. How's it going? You're charismatic, tactful, ambitious, and an experienced political orator. So, this was kind of inevitable, if we're being honest. I didn't have the ability to get any of my other values high enough to avoid that. Cash flow should be going a little bit better, or at least we're not losing any extra now that we've got both of those government sectors built. Now, do I think the temptation to build another construction sector is pretty high. I think I'm actually going to still do it. I think it's worth it. I think the investment pool is able to continuously build. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's throw this at the top of the queue and get it right done. And if this ends up being a mistake, then it will end up being a mistake, and them's the breaks. Another at-the-basket diplomatic play against us. I'm not enormously concerned about that. I will mobilize the armies and send them to deal with it, just not necessarily right now, immediately. Okay, so now we're a little bit down in cash flow, but I have plenty of stuff I can luxury tax. Oops, sorry. I am going to hit services. The one on liquor is not really providing me with much cash flow. So let's hit services. Opium and tea we're still good on. I think the next one we're going to hit is going to have to be luxury clothes. I think that's just going to be sensible. Alright, we're about halfway through the diplomatic play. Time to get everybody together. Interesting. Did I build some barracks already? Oh, maybe these are in territory that I took over from the other folks. So now I'm developing a pretty decent overflow of bureaucratic capacity. So let's go ahead and increase home affairs. I can certainly afford one more level of bureaucracy. Can't get a more legitimate government, unfortunately. Ooh, we're headed up by a protectionist. This is very good. This means I can go to protectionism in trade policy, which is quite good. This is going to make everyone happy except for the landowners, and I give a hoot what they think. So we'll just go ahead and get started with that. I could negotiate with only the landowners. I don't wish to negotiate with the landowners. Those guys suck! They suck real bad. Alright. There's war with Athabasca. Our armies are almost there, and now they're there. Beautiful. So I think the question I need to ask myself is, how do I get my liberty desire ticking up? I'm still pretty economically dependent. The investment rights are really screwing me at this time. And get my prestige up by increasing the size of my army and my navy, and I will be doing that. Overlord's army projection is over 10 times that of the colony. So that I can increase. Great Britain's alliances and defensive pacts, I can't do anything about that. I can get support and dependence, and that will help me. Gold discovered in northern Colombia. Ooh, excellent. A gold rush. Gold has been discovered in northern Colombia. People from all corners of the earth are converging there, confident that they will discover the next great lode and become incredibly rich. It was a single misplaced foot in the river. His son quick at his side, hoisting him from the water before the currents claimed him. Then as the sediment rose with both his leg and his walking stick, they saw it. The unmistakable shimmer of Plutus's very blood. By the next morning, they were both at the river with sieves and shovels, and by the night, the whole town joined them. Our options are spread the word, which gives a huge migration attraction bonus to northern Colombia. Mine, it's all mine, a moderate migration attraction bonus and an extra gold field throughput bonus for 5 years. These are both for 5 years. And then the third and fourth options are just, whenever this happens, always pick the same thing. So I can say always spread the word or it's always mine. I'm going to pick it's always mine. I love that throughput. Give me that extra cash. Alright. There's the war against the Athabasca finished. Our army is on their way back. That should be just fine. Ooh, those numbers were weird for a second there. Curious, quite curious. Inefficient agriculture.
Oh.
The industrialists have started complaining about the wasteful inefficiency of subsistence farms in Quebec. The fertile soil of our people suffers, relegated to tired and callous hands, too exhausted from manual labor to perform at a decent level, too poor to be able to use more advanced tools that would make them more profitable. This industry is just a useless investment. It won't matter if everyone moves to the city. Extra state construction efficiency, manufacturing industries throughput, capitalists' investment pool contribution efficiency, and industrialists' approval. Then we should modernize the farms, increase state construction efficiency, increased agriculture throughput, and increased aristocrats' investment pool contribution efficiency. Or looks like perfect ground for an army base. Armed forces happy, industrialists mad, extra construction efficiency, extra conscription rate, extra training rate. I'm going to pick the first one. I love building industry. It's very good for the country. Delicious water. I got low market access in Yukon. And I can support more interests. So let's declare our interest. Let's declare an interest in Dixie. Not that that's... Okay, excellent. Not that we're necessarily going to get involved in the Mexico-Canada thing, or in the Mexico-America thing, because we don't have diplomatic independence right now. Okay, we got a reformer aligned with the trade unions showing up. That's cool. And we got North German people moving to Saskatchewan. That's cool. Alright, so... investment pool is still growing at a very healthy rate. I feel like something just nationalized, or just privatized. That's good. IT, improving relations, that's cool. So, what are our long-term goals? I think we definitely need... Ooh. Munitions plants are almost done. That's very good, because that means... technically, we can get our infantry upgraded now, I believe. Oh, no, we can't, because we don't have general staff unlocked. Interesting. Nevertheless, it's useful to be producing munitions for the Empire. Let's take another quick look at our market. That is to say, the British market, and see what's needed. We need more paper. We need more engines. So I think maybe... and we do need more munitions plants. More munitions plants, more engines, more steel. So let's go ahead and queue in another steel mill and another motor industries here in Quebec, and then we'll queue in another level of tooling, another level of munitions, and another level of paper mills here in Ontario. Now, the explosives factory is having a really hard time hiring, which is a bit of a shock. Oh, there's a paper input here, and that's why that's so expensive. I can remove that, but I would produce a lot less. Block progress to consideration. Wonderful. But again, we got a lot of paper mills in under construction here. So I think it's reasonable to continue to do as we're doing. The break to build up the barracks may be a mistake economically, but them's the breaks. I don't think I really have another plan here. All right. Canneries is almost there. And there's baking powder. Beautiful. All right, so that's going to make our food industries way more efficient. Shazam. Canneries, that's also going to make our naval industries way more efficient. Ooh, Golden Victoria. Oh, that's in New South Wales. Never mind. I mean, it's not bad. It's just not great for me. All right, we're going to can meat. And are you still better off without pot stills? You still at least think you are. Maybe liquor's really, really cheap in this, in our market. I think that's probably the case. That's often the case. I really need the ability to produce bone china because ceramics are really, really a profitable industry in the British market right now. I may also want to increase trade capacity in, well, not here because the trade center is not hiring, but oh, not here either. All right, never mind. Never mind. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that at all. We're just building paper mills out the wazoo. All right, so let's go ahead and move our decrees again. We'll throw a road maintenance decree in Quebec as well. Oh, interesting. Perhaps our man McDonald has a reduced decree cost. Some such thing. Hold on. It's full. Ambitious. Yeah, it's ambitious. Reduced decree cost. Interesting. Rousing speech captivates the public. This afternoon, Augustin Norbert Morin. Hold on, I need to see how to pronounce this. Franco-Canadian. Augustin Norbert Morin, leader of the rural folk, delivered a fiery speech advocating for the enactment of protectionism. Making an appearance before the public in Fort Douglas's main square, Augustin Norbert Morin's powerful rhetoric lifting his most embittered political opponents impressed. Excerpts from the speech are already being circulated across Canada, fanning the fires of an already roaring debate. This should ease the path to reform greatly, increases enactment success chance by 15%. Or performances like this reflect well on Augustin Norbert Morin and his cause. Increases by 10. 25 popularity for him and 5% stronger rural folk. I'm just going to pick the first one. I think the enactment success chance is better. Can I do a Franco-Canadian accent? I don't think so. I think my French accent is okay, but it's a French accent, and that's just kind of where we're going to leave things. Do we have a big enough population to have sufficient infrastructure here? Not yet. Oh. The British and the Spanish are fighting. Let's go ahead and... There's already a railway here. Interesting. Let's go ahead and subsidize. And Home Affairs has hit level 2. Wonderful. Are there any fronts in this war that I could participate in? There is one down here in Gibraltar. What are you two arguing over? Commercial sides with Spain. Not shocked about that. Regime change in Puerto Rico. Britain's trying to steal the Philippines. And then they're trying to steal Puerto Rico. And then in response, Spain is trying to steal British West Africa and British Upper Andalusia, which is Gibraltar. Hey, there's realism. Wonderful. I'm going to start doing realist art. Let's go ahead and put our army on the front. Now, realism. Why would I use the filters? Go ahead and hit realist art, and we'll go to... Let's go to independent artists. That's a good sign. Let's go ahead and privatize the arts academies, same as we have been doing. We're still pretty low on taxation capacity in both Ontario and Quebec. Bureaucratic imbroglio. Lawmakers working towards the enactment of protectionism have found themselves mired in a particularly complex set of bureaucratic proceedings, grinding the work towards reform to a near halt. The fully developed bureaucratic apparatus compares with other organizations exactly as does the machine with the non-mechanical modes of production. That is to say, the teeth of its individual gears meet in a chord, or its gears will gnash and churn until it eventually breaks. Dam this labyrinthine legal system, reduce enactment success chance, increase enactment time, or cut through at least some of the red tape, reduce bureaucracy, increase enactment time, 10% of bureaucrat pops in Manitoba become more radical. I'm going to pick the second one. It's only going to cost me 32 bureaucracy. It's basically nothing. Federated Shan states left the empire. Okay. Now, how short are we? We're quite short here, actually. I'm going to hit the button that crashes the game. How short are we? Yeah, we need actually 3 levels of taxation capacity in Ontario and 3 in Quebec. That's absurd. That's really absurd. I had no idea things were that bad from a bureaucratic capacity perspective. That having been said, you're good to go with this other stuff. I'm going to actually throw the barracks in Quebec ahead in the queue, because I want to be building where we've got our decrees to the greatest extent possible. Oh my goodness. There's a front over here and I completely forgot about it. This is what happens when you go somewhere. Okay, well this could be a problem. I got units on the way and no, you need to go there. You need to go there, buddy. Oh no. No! How could you? How could you? I've been betrayed by the motherland. No! No, they're taking over Northern Columbia. No! Ah. How can you do this? How can you do this? Alright, we're also short on convoys, but I can't in the market, but I can't really do much about that. Alright, ooh, excellent. Private sector is starting to get the ability to produce a second building at the same time, even though it's only a trade center. I don't know why this army is going there. Let's go ahead and reset the path. There we go, much better. Yeah, we got some isolated areas. Oh, interesting. So yeah, so these areas are isolated because there's no path between them now. But soon we'll be at the front, and that'll be fine. Cash flow is doing just fine right now, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. We're in adoption for protectionism. Gold discovered in South Island. That does not affect me one bit. Yeah, they're all isolated. It's okay. We're gonna get them back. We're gonna get them back soon enough. Famine. Where? Okay, can we show just Canada, please? Famine in Northern Columbia. Alright, because the territory is occupied by the Russians. Well, that'll do it. I mean, nothing else to do about that except for take the territory back. We are winning. We're winning. We're winning a battle on offense, so here's hoping we're able to get moving forward and that doesn't become a long-term problem. We are also building up more barracks. Okay, alright. Let's move our road maintenance decree from Ontario to Manitoba, because that's where we're building these barracks, and then in another week, we'll move the one in Quebec to the Maritimes, and then we're going to hope and pray that we remember to move it back. And then after that, yeah, we're doing more construction in Quebec and Ontario. I'm actually going to move the government admin in Quebec up to the top so that it's with the other construction that's happening in Quebec. Just to keep that clean in terms of the decrees. Alright, we're taking the territory back. Force comparison here is not great, but I think we're still winning. Gold fields depleted. The rich mineral deposits in northern Colombia have been drained. Mines are being shuttered, and all the prospectors who moved in are beginning to drift away in search of the next big strike. Alluvial gold dried up, miners go home. Riverbed dried up due to minor activity. Shafts condemned as threat to life. Enter at own peril. Trespassers will be shot. Survivors will be shot again. Unfortunate. Reduced migration attraction. Or we can't just let them leave. 20% of laborers in northern Colombia become more radical. Or we can, like with the other rush events, we can set them as to always do the same thing. I'm just going to say unfortunate. I don't want radicals over there. The other side of the fence. People have been complaining about the difference in living standards between us and our neighbors in the United States of America, which have a standard of living of 11.8 as opposed to our 11.0. After the shop door swung shut, they exchanged a meaningful glance. She didn't even notice you gave her the wrong change. Well, why do you think I do it? Her sort, they can afford it. I'll be damned if the Americans think they can come here and flaunt their wealth, expecting us to just tolerate it. This is just an example of global inequality, stronger and happier trade unions. Clearly, they're liars who cheat foreigners out of money, deteriorates relations. Or this is the way things are, not worth thinking about. 5% of pops in Saskatchewan become more radical. I'm going to say this is simply an example of global economic inequality. It's going to make the trade unions a little stronger, but it's also going to make them happier. How is the war going? Hey, there's protectionism. Wonderful. We got a battle happening? Yes, we are winning our battle over here. So here's hoping we can continue to press forward. We're generating a lot of victories on this front for our side. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. However, there's a new army on its way here. But armies are kind of moving out and around here. So we'll see what happens. Northern Colombia does need to have, now that the gold fields are depleted, it has capacity for gold mines. So I'm going to queue in a whole ton of those. Those are very, very good. I've definitely got the infrastructural capacity for them. Let's hope we can get the territory back so that we can benefit from that. A small amount of devastation has occurred here, but not too much. So I'm feeling hopeful about the situation. Again, if we can continue to win victories and not, we can. The enemy's got a lot of occupation here in Alberta, and there's a little bit of devastation here as well. But again, if we can continue to win victories in the field, we can get their occupation down. Excellent. All right, we're still winning. We're still winning. We're doing it. We're doing it, friends. And we are actually improving relations with Mexico now. Are they still rivaling us? They're not. All right, that's good. That's very good. I wonder if America would be willing to support our freedom. You know, it would be interesting. I think the people most likely to be willing to support freedom for us would be the Russians. Oh, interesting. So we're losing this battle, actually. And it looks like we lost some down here because they're starting to get occupation over here. But this one we're... Oh, no, we lost that one. Okay, I wonder if it's like a weird two different armies situation happening. Oh yeah, they got a much larger force over here now. So we're being forced back once again. All right, let's move those decrees. We have increased the size of our armies, but unfortunately, that's going to take some time. I could throw some decrees on to make that go faster. What other decrees am I rocking at present? I got greener grasses campaigns, got road maintenance, I'm encouraging resource industry and kitback. I still think that's reasonable. I can cut a consumption tax or two, but these are generating quite a bit of my cash flow at present, so I think they're going to have to stay where they are. So unfortunately, we've simply suffered too many casualties. I don't yet have the ability to do skirmish infantry, and that's going to take some time. So, here's hoping we can get the war done. That having been said, it does appear that Great Britain is significantly moving forward on the main front. And although Spain currently has war support protection, it won't always. At least I'm hoping it won't always. And then there is a naval invasion going on in Russia, and it looks like it's actually going well. So we'll see if that continues. Let me see. Perhaps. Okay, we're doing a pretty decent defense here. Yeah, I think perhaps I do need to rehash these decrees. So we'll go ahead and get rid of greener grasses campaigns for now. I think enlistment efforts. I'm gonna focus. It's a shame that this screen doesn't show where we've got the most, barracks. But here's hoping we can continue to move forward there. Unfortunately, due to the enemy's superior army size, they are really winning over here. Ooh, mechanized workshops, excellent. Currently I'm gonna put those on. Oh right, I've got explosives industry and I haven't enabled it. That's what's going on. That's why I don't have enough of those things. I don't have a lot of light industry, so mechanized workshops actually is not as useful for me as it could be. Oh, we are winning a defensive battle over here, so that's pretty good. Force comparison here is doing really, really bad. I think I may begin suffering some real devastation here. It's early on in the game, so devastation is not that extreme in this time period. But it's still pretty bad. It's like it's not good to have. It's not good to have. Will someone please set Castilla Nueva as their objective so that you start fighting battles here and getting occupation of the state that you need in order to win the war? Please? Please? Please do a reasonable thing. Oh my goodness, 16th British Army got stuck up in northern Canada. I still think I'm going to stay on defense. I think that's the only reasonable way to do things. Yeah, alright, they're defending as well, which makes sense. We've got an organization shortage due to a supply shortage. Why do we have a supply shortage? From input goods shortages, we don't have enough explosives. Wait, is it explosives? Is that what the input goods shortage is about? Or is it paper? We shouldn't need explosives directly. Hold on. What are our barracks using? They don't bring in explosives directly. Yeah, I'm not sure what's causing that. This could be a real problem. Okay, so they can't get that. That's really weird. Because this should be its own front. Because this shouldn't necessarily be its own front, but now our boys are isolated. So this might be a real crimp in my plans, because all of our states are isolated from the market. Man, I should have put my fellas over there in the same place I always put them. I just forgot. Because it's a new day. It's a new day today. Diplomatic tour. The ruling industrialists, led by the charismatic John MacDonald, have initiated a great diplomatic tour. The decision to focus efforts domestically or internationally has been left to the last minute, however, and it's unclear if the industrialists will do more for themselves or for the country as a whole. Nothing wrong with a little self-promotion if it's for a good cause. And how would you determine the character of a cause? By how it ripens your purse? Well, but by its very nature. Why, a cause of ragamuffins might well have a healthy effect on the state, if its heart is in the right place. The tour should drum up support for the industrialists, they get slightly stronger and happier. Or the tour should drum up support for Canada, we get extra influence. I don't need the influence, I'll just go for the industrialists. Now, if I spent a comical amount of money, I could get a bunch of prestige by building power block statues, but I don't think I necessarily need. In search of a better life, people from the state of Manitoba have been massively migrating across the country in hopes of finding a better place to settle and escape the great famine that has been devastating their lives. Along the deserted and rusty railways, the cry of children is the only sound that can be heard. No train will arrive until noon, but families have already gathered near the ruined station. Some of them have been walking for days. Where's brother, they keep wailing. Rumors of a better life beyond the land are a foolish hope, they suspect. Where is brother? Rain falls, some men fall too. These are the consequences we must face. People migrate due to lack of an emergency relief fund. Okay, alright, here we go. Industrialists get happier that we don't do a relief fund. Manitoba gets minus 80% migration attraction. Or, We should activate the emergency relief in the original Manitoba now. You'll have to establish an emergency relief decree in Manitoba, minus 25% decree cost. Manitoba gets a great famine. Alright, so we're going to do the second one. I got a little extra authority because I'm actually running a lot of decrees. So let's get emergency relief in Manitoba. We can also put emergency relief in the Yukon and Oregon. So we'll do it. Again, the enemy's advancing over here. Or no, they're not. All of the battles are happening over here. But we are continuing to lose, which simply is what it is. I don't have anything I can do about that. Britain will continue to expand this way in Spain for reasons not completely clear. Technical talents. Inspired by the prowess of American engineers and academics, the technically inclined industrialists have begun to align themselves with the Canadian-American Union. By our standards, with the methods they employ in their manufactories, they often find themselves saving half a man-hour per worker to produce the same output we do. The building I toured had quite an innovative lighting system as well. Imagine, if you will, shifts being able to extend up to an hour more per day. This mustachioed compatriot was already pulling out a paper, drawing a line between disparate sets of calculations. When two sums were placed next to each other, he let out a low whistle. We will make great strides together, industrialist joins the Canadian-American Union, or our creations far outstrip those cheap American toys, weaker industrialists. I'm going to do the first one. Again, I don't know why Great Britain is pushing forward in northwestern Spain when they're adjacent to the capital, which would be what they would need to occupy to get Spain to lose war support protection. But that's not really something I can do anything about. So we're just gonna kind of chill. Just gonna kind of chill and do our emergency relief decree wherever we can, wherever we need to. Yeah, we got 3 famines and we're doing them. Wow, that's really bad. Damn. So yeah, I guess emergency relief is going to have to be the way of it. I don't have the ability to get this army out of here, and the only way I could do is if I could naval invade, and I don't seem to be able to do that. All right, so the fronts have moved to the east. Happily, a friendly army from Ceylon has moved here, and we are now. And they're pressing forward. It's going to take a long time for both us and our enemies to get to the front. So they might be able to get back some of Ontario before the units get here. If they don't, it will simply be what it is. This army is really significantly depleted. We've only got 5k manpower at this point. Ah, yes, they've moved the front considerably. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. We also have really, really low organization, and I can't do anything about that because I got input goods shortages. Army cause small arms. Okay, but how do I... Our arms industries are well, they weren't running, but now they're running. I'm going to subsidize them, I guess. And Russia's out of the war, which means we have gotten all of Canada back. Well, that's exciting. I think this army is going to stay in Canada, though, because our lads have suffered enough. We still have a famine in the market. No ongoing famines. All right. So that means we can remove the emergency relief decrees. I have the capacity for doing emergency relief in... Okay, what are the conditions? 20% of pops in starvation, has a famine, devastation greater than 20%, or has flood, wildfire, drought, disease outbreak, extreme winds, or tsunami. Okay, so what's going on in these places here? We do have a mild starvation issue, but I can for sure solve that. We need a wheat farm here. We have a mild starvation, not really. Saskatchewan, we do, so we need a wheat farm here. Yukon territory. We do have a starvation, so we need a livestock ranch here. Oh, and we have gold mine capacity. That's exciting. I didn't realize that. Northern Columbia. Not that much of a only an eensy-weensy starvation problem. Now, Oregon, we have a starvation problem. We're going to need to... Wow! A lot of arable land in Oregon. Dang. And we're good over here in Idaho. So, that should be fine. Let's take a quick run at this. Alright, and then we're building up Ontario. We've got a lot of government admin to build there. Really, in Satara. Okay, I think we're going to complete the Canadian Pacific Railway. The only one we still need is Northern Colombia. Northern Colombia. So let's get that queued in. We're doing pretty good. Got plenty of bureaucratic capacity now. So let's maybe go to... I can't get to dedicated police force, which is interesting. The only people who care about this are the armed forces and the petit bourgeoisie. And we've white-pieced. Alright. And putting them in the government is not going to help me. So that's interesting. South Australia has left the British Empire. Interesting. Oh, because Australia is also being confederated. Exciting. So let's take a look at our market now. Paper remains crazy expensive. Oil is expensive, but what are you going to do? It's 1856. Fine art is expensive. Groceries are expensive. Engines are still extremely expensive. I'm going to set these motor industries to privatize. I think that's just sensible. Interesting. Some of our industries are being purchased by Britain. I think I can throw one more consumption tax in here. Let's go ahead and do luxury clothes. I think that's just fine. Paper remains expensive. Iron remains expensive. Maybe I'll do another block of iron mines here in Quebec. Although I do need these gold mines, and I need them bad. Oh boy. Britain, you need to dial it back. You got too many wars going on. It's goofy. You're getting goofy over there. General staff. I also need to eventually start building universities because I need the innovation if I'm going to stay ahead and be able to continue to increase the size of my military. Once again, I can get a bit of prestige by building power block statues. Reduced decree cost wouldn't be bad. Currently I have 135 prestige, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 total states. So I have the capacity to get another 40 prestige out of this. Britain appears to be at... Fine, we'll do it this way. Britain appears to be at 1884, so I need quite a bit more prestige in order to compare. Can I get their power projection by looking at this number? Okay, they're investing in us. Yeah, army power projection 126 versus my army power projection is 14. So I am above 110. If I continue to build up my military capacity, I should be able to increase my army power projection, which is a good sign. Our Lancers are not hiring. These are the Maritimes, right? No. Where did I put the Lancers? Were those Manitoba? Yeah. Those are with Congo. I'm not even going to mobilize. I don't think it matters. And then the Egyptians and the Ottomans are shooting at each other once again. And of course, as the Ottoman Empire's allies, we are involved So we'll see if the Russians get involved, and if we do, we're going to go over to the Western Front. I'm not going to cause a starvation in my own country by forgetting there's a front over there again. You see what's going on in Europe. Switzerland's been cut in half by our revolt. France is doing republicanism. See what's going on in Asia. China's chilling. Empire of Japan. We got Yamato Kome. Oh, Egypt backs down. That's exciting. What did they back down about? Oh, Sinai, looks like. Interesting. But they're still independent, which is fun. Now, my situation... Oh, my liberty desire is pretty low. Because they took investment rights in me, probably. And because they've got some infamy kicking around. I need fervor. I need cultural fervor. How do I increase fervor? Society, cultures, fervor. High average acceptance. I need more literacy. I need more academics. I need more war casualties. And I need pan-nationalism. Okay, pan-nationalism is going to take some time. The United States appears to be fighting the Austrians, which is an interesting thing. Okay, yeah, it's probably time to get universities rolling. Dang, I'm having a really hard time getting stuff built. Private sector is really using a lot of construction capacity. But I guess it makes sense. Hey, private sector, buy some of this garbage I'm privatizing. Buy it. You know you want my delicious industries. I could be a world's leading paper producer. Are these paper mills productive? They sure are. And Britain's helping export. Okay, they're trying to get our autonomy down, which is fine with me. Because I can get our autonomy moving up by improving military stuff. In fact, I'm 3 years away from having skirmish infantry, and that's really, really going to help. So, let's go ahead and build a little bit bigger military. Let's build a 15-10-5 military. So I need 4 more units of infantry. We'll just build them in our most populous areas. 2 in Ontario, 2 in Quebec. For artillery, I need 3 more units. We'll build 2 in Ontario and 2 in Quebec and 1 in Ontario. And then for Lancers, I need 3 more. We'll do 2 in Ontario and 1 in Quebec. And that'll be fine. That'll be fine. I don't know why I'm having a hard time running any kind of industry in Manitoba, but them's the breaks. This is technically my capital. Do I have the ability to move my capital? Once again, my taxation capacity has been completely outstripped in Ontario, which is, again, a little bit of a shocker. Hey, Britain. Give me Newfoundland. They refused, but that's okay. That's going to increase our liberty desire. Oh, no, it didn't. Oh, that's weird. Well, maybe it did. I haven't been checking that closely. Let's start improving relations with the other subject states of Britain, shall we? Oh, weird. The Antillean Confederation has gotten part of Cuba. Interesting. Haiti's been split into Haiti and Santo Domingo. That's curious. Harvest conditions started. A lingering frost in Saskatchewan. It's not ideal. I think... Okay, hold on. Training pays off. Our extra training has seemed to pay off. Troops in Quebec have put their training to use to learn some new tactics that might help us should we find ourselves in a war. Our soldiers are the best in the world. The defenders of our nation have and always will be challenged in their skill and professionalism. This only proves us right. Keep it to themselves. Extra army and defense for 10 years. I just realized I've still got trees running related to the war that I no longer need. Got the road maintenance decrees rolling. So we'll continue to encourage resource industry. Right. I was doing greener grasses campaigns. I'm going to do one. I'm going to put them back in. And then I'm going to do one in Manitoba as well. And maybe we'll work on... I'm going to fund this railway. And maybe we'll put some fishing wharves and some logging camps in Manitoba as well. Now, we're working towards government admin in Ontario. So let's go ahead and move our road maintenance decree from Quebec to Northern Columbia, where we're building all those mines. Advancements in medicine. Members of the Canadian-American Union are greatly impressed by the advancements the United States of America has made in medicine. With urgency, they seek to model the American approach to medical innovation. A lobby member that has recently returned from touring the United States of America and speaking with American doctors shares more about the experience. The medical accomplishments of the United States of America are quite spectacular. Should we take after their example, it would only improve the standing of Canada. Send some of our finest to study medicine in the United States of America, improves relations, and increases appeasement of the Union by 3. That is good for us. Or research their methodologies immediately. This costs the government some cash because it's progress towards quinine. I'm going to go with the progress towards quinine. It's always nice to have free progress towards techs. And more importantly, quinine is a tech we need to clear out the tier 2s in the social, which we need in order to get to steel frame buildings, and a whole lot of other stuff we would like to have, like pan-nationalism. I'm still kind of struggling with building. We're number 12 in GDP, though, so we're doing pretty well with that. I think I'm going to put these wheat fields up above the gold mines for now. I think these are more important. Just in terms of making those states able to support themselves food-wise and making sure that famines don't become an inevitability in the event of those areas being occupied by our enemies, the Russians. I think that just makes sense. So, working on government admin. And then I think we'll move the decree a little bit just to make sure that we're good. Alright, so that should get that building. Oh boy. I'm just all over the place tonight. We're costing ourselves a lot of cash, but we are making plenty of money privatizing buildings, so that shouldn't... Oh, interesting. Armed forces were not a force in the country for a little bit, but they are again. I suppose I could pull the armed forces into the government, and that would help me get police forces, which would be nice to have. Could go to public schools as well. That would be nice. I do have the ability to. Cash flow is doing better now that the private sector is building something. It's interesting. Okay, here we go. Yes, I do have GDP owned in other countries. 7 levels in Great Britain, 8 levels in India. And an assortment of levels owned in other areas in India. And then Britain owns a bunch of levels in me, which of course is not great. It's not great, but it is what it is. Rubber in Mysore, cool. good balance of politics here. Had a radicalization spike a little while ago. That's probably when a bunch of the areas in the West were occupied by Russia. Oop. I ran myself out of grease somehow. Did John McDonald die? What happened? Where did I lose all my authority from? That's weird. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and cut a consumption tax then. Because I need those decrees. Let's maybe cut our greener grass campaign in Quebec for now as well. So that we can afford our road maintenance. Where are we currently building this? This is the Yukon. We'll get that rolling. And then after that, it's Oregon. I'm actually going to move the one that's currently in northern Columbia to Oregon just to get that done. Let me check and make sure I've got at least some food supply in each state. Oh boy. Some of these are not doing super hot. Remember, I thought I didn't have any in the Maritimes. Alright, I am gonna do that. Wow. It's kind of bad. Why is construction efficiency here so low? From turmoil. Interesting. Yeah, maybe I do need policing. Alright, well, let's get the military disappeared again. Tragic. Very sad. Well, I guess we're gonna be building more barracks in a little bit. It's gonna be a while, but I don't need a police force that badly. And there's chemical bleaching. So we'll go ahead and get producing bone china, and that's gonna make our glassworks very effective. We'll go ahead and start using paper bleaching, and that's gonna make our paper mills very effective. Set all of our tooling workshops to privatize. We'll do the same with fertilizer plants and explosives industries. And livestock ranches, we can start using barbed wire fencing. I think that's just reasonable. I'm not necessarily going to start using trains to automate... I don't have tobacco plantations. Ontario. Interesting. I don't want to necessarily start... Sorry, what was I saying? I don't want to necessarily start using labor-saving methods in my mines just yet, because I've still got plenty of folk who could use good jobs. I got a lot of people working in subsistence agriculture right now. Alright, let's get our road maintenance decree moved to northern Columbia. And we'll put this one back in... Wait, where's the other place? In the Yukon, yeah. I'm building gold mines there as well. Unfairly denied entry. Serbian people in the Maritimes are being blocked from entering certain businesses by local Franco-Canadian people. I've been going to this shop for years. Why is there suddenly a sign on the window saying people like me aren't welcome? Everyone must be allowed reduced authority, or shopkeepers can sell or not sell to who they like, reduced standard of living for Serbian people in the Maritimes. I'm going to say everyone must be allowed. It's only 30 authority. It's barely any, really. Is there something going on? Are we in a war? Spread thin. The limited political resources of the intelligentsia have made the group's leadership question its membership in both the Canadian-American Union and the Anti-Russian League. And for office supplies, on average, the auditor turned a page to the relevant entry and ran his eyes down the column. 300 crowns per month. For the man who sat across from him, the world was beginning to spin. You're certain? And 1,200 for work-related travel expenses. Excuse me, he managed. Could I have a copy of the manifest? I need to meet with my colleagues at once. There's no reason to remain in the Canadian-American Union. Intelligentsia leaves them. Membership in the Anti-Russian League is no longer useful. They leave that, or abandoning either would be unwise. They become weaker. I'm actually going to say they become weaker. Let's go more space for the armed forces. We're getting into the government because I need a police force, and it needs to care. It needs to be a dedicated police force. We're going to negotiate with. I can get the rural folk to stop opposing it, or I can get the industrialists behind it. Ooh, and we're working on craft paper because we're in the top 3 paper producers, which is really, really nice. Oh, I'm so pleased. Yeah, Rocky Mountains and the trade unions being mad. That's okay. Once we get these gold mines rolling, we should be in really good stead. So part of this is I've just got so much bureaucratic capacity from all the taxation cap that's needed to successfully run Quebec and Ontario that I need institutions to spend it on. I am still colonizing this area, right? I wasn't somehow. Oh my goodness, I stopped colonizing Yukon as well. How did that happen? It was probably because the Russians took the area over. That's okay. That's okay. We're doing it. We're being reasonable. All right. Let's negotiate with the industrialists, see what they've got. Despite ungentlemanly comments, raised voices, and the shaking of fists, the industrialists have admitted to several compromises that would change their perception of dedicated police force. After I delivered the governor's letter, I became incredibly grateful for the lectern in front of me. My hardwood shield against the onslaught of insults and very physical detritus that was tossed at my person. I raised my arms and kept my voice level. Gentlemen, please. I concede that this offer may not be all you hoped for, but the governor is quite adamant. Dedicated police force is the future of our nation. I put them in charge of the treasury. This costs a huge pile of cash. Increases their attraction and political strength, and 10% chance of backroom dealings exposed in 300 days. Place their members in administrative positions. This costs us a pile of bureaucracy. That's not bad. I got a ton of extra bureaucracy. Add some fine print about political concessions. I'm going to place their members in administrative positions. It's going to cost us a huge pile of bureaucracy, but I got so much, and I need even more to keep these my 2 mega states really rolling. My liberty desire continues to go down, which I don't love. But I'm getting more. I'm mitigating it with army power projection, and that's going to continue to get larger the more money I spend on it. Why did this go down? Oh, because of the bureaucracy. Oh, interesting. Well, that's okay. There's nothing I can do about that. Yeah, I still think that's reasonable. Is there a decree I can do to increase colonization rate? Doesn't appear to be. Ooh. Excellent. So we're up to 52%. That's very good. And this means our bureaucracy is going to go up slowly over time, which is also nice. Without me even doing anything about it. Of course, now, sadly, the armed forces are moving me down a category in legitimacy, but you know, we'll see. We'll see about it. It's fine. It's fine. All right, nice. Just making sure the craft paper thing's still rolling. Because if we can get everyone buying Canadian paper, that'll be super duper nice. We got too many sulfur mines. I don't know who's building all these sulfur mines over here. There's British interests building sulfur mines in Ontario that nobody wants to work at. They can't make any money. Gosh dang, very silly. Very close to general staff now, and I think after that, actually, we're gonna need to cancel some of these. Well, no, I should be able to hit the upgrade button and they'll just kind of go by themselves, hopefully. I wonder if adding a few conscripts that I am not actually raising would be a reasonable way of addressing this issue. There we go. That's sensible. Discord within the intelligentsia, advancement. An influential faction within the intelligentsia has grown frustrated with their co-members' neutrality on the topic of dedicated police force. Themselves in favor of the law, they've now resolved to form a separate political faction intent on passing it. How can you all stand idly by and watch the world pass before your eyes? Have you no sense of honor, of duty to your fellow man? I say nay to such lack of ambition, and I dare say I am not alone in this. With their support, the bill shall pass, weaker intelligentsia, increased enactment success chance, or the armed forces extend an open hand to these mavericks. Not as much enactment success chance, but the intelligentsia get a lot weaker, and the armed forces get a little stronger. I'm actually going to pick the second one. I think that's fine. I want to keep the armed forces a little stronger so that I can get their bonuses, because they're very happy about the current situation. Just taking a quick look at some companies. I still... This one's within reach. Construction sector throughput. Because I could get more levels of steel mills and more levels of glassworks. And you always need tools. Tooling is a big part of any economy. And as you can see, we've got plenty of demand in the market. Currently I'm building up gold, and I think that's a reasonable way of doing things, because cash flow is really good. So, now here's the question. Okay, so we are getting minting directly from our gold mines. So that is good. So building these gold mines is effective. Now, do I have dynamite in the pot? I don't think so. We got, okay, we're clear on tier 2s for production. We got rubber mastication spreading. Having really good tech spread. Extra from knowledge sharing and from literacy. That's good. That's very, very good. Could stand to increase literacy a bit more. I forgot to get myself two things of water. What do you call what you put water in? A bottle? Something like that? Some sort of batel? Some sort of biautel? Something like that. I know how to speak English. Why are the rural folks so mad? Oh, because they don't want to be policed. Well, that's a shame. Law progressed to consideration. Wonderful. So I am going to have to run to the refrigerator. I keep cold water in the refrigerator. I'm not buying bottled water and putting it in the refrigerator. I'm putting tap water into bottles and chilling it for myself, because I like drinking water that is cold. Golden Northern Cape. That's in Southern Africa. Ah, we seem to have joined a situation in Belgium. Now the question is, would mobilizing this army be sensible? It would cost me money, but it would also give me... there's no front. Well, we'll need to figure that out. The Belgian Randall... Okay, only this is Belgium. That's curious. It's only Gelra. Alright, well, perhaps... Let's station these units in Britain, or stage them, and then when... Oh! Okay, no, that's the front that I was talking about. Alright. And then when... when Britain invades, we'll move them into support, and then maybe we'll get some casualties, and maybe we'll get some fervor. I know that's kind of a cold-hearted way of referring to my my pops, but it's necessary. It's simply necessary. So there's shell gun. That's very good. We have general staff researching. The next thing is going to be triage, and then we'll be able to go to draw out cranes. What's currently spreading? I think general staff is also spreading, so we'll also get some tech spread in there as well. Law progressed to adoption. Excellent. Yeah, there we go. General staff spreading. Okay, so that just happened. 2 arms. And there's general staff unlocked. Got plenty of munitions in the situation already. Let's go ahead and upgrade our units to skirmish infantry. That's going to increase our army power projection, which is in turn going to increase our liberty desire gain from army power projection. Which hopefully will eventually get to a point where we can cross over that line and be able to get more. We still could use a little bit more prestige. But them's the breaks. Okay, Britain, you gotta invade. Buddy. Buddy bear. Old buddy, old pal, imperial mother. You've gotta get there. Can I naval invade? Can I borrow the Royal Navy, please? Naval invade? How are the Indians over here? How did the Indians make it? Oh, okay, we got the ability to get there somehow. Not sure what that's about. Maybe we're sailing up one of these rivers. That's probably what's happening. Well, cool. Didn't realize that could happen. But yes, Canada is participating. Canada and India are saving Belgium's bacon. I don't know if Belgium is a... Why do we have attrition? Why do we have no supplies? Oh, because we're exiled. Hold on. But oh god, this is really bad. Why do we have no supplies? No! Oh, I've been goobered. I've trapped myself. with no supply. Okay, why can't I restation? Gosh dang. No, this is a hairball. I've Gallipolied myself. Alright, in the midst of the debate surrounding dedicated police force, one of the country's leading playwrights, strongly associated with the petite bourgeoisie, has staged a widely acclaimed play whose politically laden theme makes no secret of the author's desire for the law to be passed. The man's viewpoints may be somewhat partisan, but sir, you cannot argue with his prose. Dedicated police force will be on everyone's lips now, increased enactment success chance. This sure puts the petite bourgeoisie in a good light, stronger petite bourgeoisie, or let's ensure the play gets a wider international audience, a little bit extra prestige. I think I'm actually going to go with the prestige. That's just fine. We'll see if I make up for the prestige I've lost completely goobering myself by completely Gallipoli-ing myself in Northern Europe. Yeah, wow, this sure was a failure. I mean, I guess I kind of knew that this front wasn't really gonna work. Okay, hold on. Let's bail out. I can't get out. The only HQ I can... Why did you let me go in here, game? What's wrong with you? Do I need to get military access to the Netherlands or something? I can't. I'm very salty. Alright, well, the lads will be back soon enough. Well, I said I was gonna get some casualties, and oh boy howdy, am I getting casualties. I'm getting fervor. Friends. We're up to 10 from 56k casualties. 16k casualties for Franco-Canadian. So, you know, we're doing what I need to do. Urgh. Oh man, I'm the best at video games. So good at video games. Alright. Our units have become exiled due to Belgium having taken over the territory. So, again, if Britain would but invade, all would be well, yet that is not happening. Okay, our minting amount is slowly going up. Santo Domingo improving relations, that's pretty cool. For tech, we're still working on military. I think... And Belgium left the British Empire. Interesting. And now they're the United Belgian States. And now I have dedicated police force. Wonderful. Let me just make sure these guys are coming back. Yes, they're coming back. Alright, beautiful. So now that I've got dedicated police force, let's go ahead and at least get that institution up to... Oh, I can do another level of colonial affairs. That I do want. And we'll get them up to level 3. Just to get started. Now, other laws. I don't have social security. I could go to poor laws, but let's wait on that for now. Could go to public schools. Could go to public schools and I can go to private health insurance. I can't go public right now because I don't have corporatists yet that would help me do that. Let's go to private. Let's go to private schools. This is not sensible. Nah, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. Only the Anglican Church will be mad, and they'll get over it. Still having a little bit of a construction efficiency shortage, but you know, mountains. What are you gonna do? The same here in the Yukon. We got and the Yukon's unincorporated. Oh right, because we haven't finished colonizing the damn thing yet. Although it looks like we're almost done, which is pretty cool. Oh right, because you only need to colonize the accessible territory. Yeah, I think that's something that changed in a recent build of the game, where first you had to get all of the territory. You only need to do the accessible territory now. Now the question is, can I start colonizing Athabasca? No. Alright, so we're almost done, and there's that. Let's get the territory incorporated. And that's going to be very good for us long term. I'm delighted to have all... I will be delighted to have all of Canada incorporated. Industrial barriers. Factories in southern Colombia have been reportedly placing Salish people into roles with incredibly poor working conditions, owing to their status as second-class citizens of Canada. So the Salish are Northwest Coast Indian. Okay. Of the indigenous American... The Northwest Coast Indian of the indigenous American peoples. Okay. I know. Us businessmen have a reputation for only caring about the bottom line. That may be true for some, but the way I see it, any venture must be built on a strong foundation of values. The Salists don't understand those values. How could they? Those are our values. This unequal treatment cannot stand. Petite bourgeoisie, salty. Increased salty and weaker, increased cultural majority movement pop attraction. Or they're lucky they're given any job at all. -2 standard of living. 2% of Salish pops become more radical. 5% of Salish pops in southern Colombia become more radical. And reduced cultural majority movement pop attraction. I'm going to do the first one. I think weakening the petite bourgeoisie is just fine. Those guys tend to be jerks a lot of the time. But also, I don't want to reduce the standard of living of the Salish people who, again, live here. So where are our Salish people? Okay, they're over here. They're actually the majority. Here, the only other people in southern Colombia are Yanks. Oop. Someone just left. They bailed out. They didn't wish to be here anymore, and they bailed out. There's also Yanks living in Idaho. Who would have thunk it? Yanks in Idaho? How could this have happened? We are gradually approaching the standard of living of our American neighbors. Hopefully we will surpass them at some point. We do have a stall chance on private schools. Academic assistance and advanced chance. The teachers of our higher institutions of learning have offered to advise the government in the implementation of the new private schools. There are certainly differences between teaching children the fundamentals and the more advanced education offered in our universities. Nevertheless, as architects of the upper floors of this towering structure of knowledge, we believe the least we can do is to provide some insight into how the foundation should be built. We'll be happy to have their help. Extra enactment success chance, reduce university building throughput while this is going on. Their research is more important, half as much enactment success chance. Or they could be of help finalizing the bill, one entire phase of progress. I'm just going to say we'll be happy to have their help. I think I've only got one university rolling right now, so it's not a big deal. Let's go to general training. I think that was unlocked with general staff. And let's go to gas streetlights. That's going to make our urban centers a little bit more productive. And let's get our railways using wooden cargo carriages. I'm going to have them all be subsidized, and I'm going to have them be privatized. Actually, no. I'm not going to privatize the railways. That's fine. I still don't have that many trade centers, although I guess I don't need to get that much from the world market, really. I'm going to need more when I get out of the British market, though. That's for damn sure. Still wouldn't be more productive if I were producing liquor for my one level of food industries, but we'll keep things as they are for now. Again, this long break on expanding the economy to build this, these gold mines might... I'll acknowledge that might have been a mistake, but But it is what it is. Northern Colombia, and then we're going to do our military expansions, and then we're going to do a bunch of other stuff. Let's actually put the additional development in Manitoba below the foodstuffs. I need those for autarky purposes, basically. You know, I think more construction sectors would be good. Do I have the ability to privatize? Oh, actually, I should be able to establish a gold company now. Hey, we're in consideration. Wonderful. Yes. The Northern Colombia Premium Gold Company. We'll give them investment rights. And I can give them industry rights in lead mines, which I don't currently have the authority to do because I've run myself out of free company charters. But I should be able to get another in society somewhere in here. Is it postal savings? No. Where is it? It's probably mutual funds. No, not mutual funds. Is it not until investment banks? It's not until investment banks. Alright, that's okay. That's okay. Lead mines are not that productive an industry anyway, so maybe better off they're not over there. I've been kind of relying on tech spread. Ooh, City of Plenty. I know I'm talking about building universities, and suddenly the game's like, no, don't talk about universities. The most prominent members of Quebec high society have been seen organizing luxurious parties in the new and lavish urban buildings. Marble walls, shimmering stone. The noise of people coming and going brings the city back to life when we didn't even know it was dead. Tall buildings cover the sunset, kids play with bricks, smoke blends with the clouds, and a distant bell announces the next train. Progress is coming. Let them celebrate. 10% of upper and middle stardom pops become more loyalist. Or the party will never end. 25% of upper and middle stardom pops will become more loyalist, but +3 minimum expected standard of living for the upper strata in Ontario, in Quebec for 10 years. So, let's take a quick look here. The wealthy are currently at the upper strata are currently at 47 standard of living, which is wealthy, against an expected of 19.6. That's fine. I can totally do the second one. So basically, I'm betting that standard of living will stay high. And I think it will. I think there's no reason not to bet on that. I think I've managed my economy excellently and will continue to do so. I'm so thirsty. I'm so thirsty. I wonder if I get a decision to buy the Russian American company over here. Doesn't look like it. Oh, there's a Tibetan expedition. I should look into that. Need to have an interest, but that's okay. I'm doing pretty good on that. And the rural folk have fallen out of our politics. That's also interesting. Rubber and Mendeley, that's fine. Whew. We are... These gold mines are taking a long time, but they are helping. Hey, a lot of progress to adoption. Wonderful. As you can see, minting has gone up to 23k. And a good amount of it is coming from the Yukon Territory and Northern Colombia. And as we get dynamite unlocked, that will be even more because dynamite is a further advancement in mining. Rubber mastication is not really going to help us except allowing our private sector to build rubber plants in other parts of the empire. Law enforcement's up to level 2. Excellent. So that's going to be mitigating some of the turmoil. Western Australia left the British Empire. What's going on over here? Britain's going after Circassia? Are you crazy? And there's triage. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and activate that. Oh, we got balloon reconnaissance. That's cool. I'll do that. We do have native tobacco production, so We'll do that for our armies as well. And there's plenty of liquor in the market, so we'll do liquor inputs as well. And we do have our own engines, so we'll do engines as well. We're going to make our armies expensive, but that's also going to make them better. Ooh, we're in the middle of Austria. Now, the Prussians and the Austrians are shooting at each other. Prussia wants... What does Prussia want? Prussia wants German leadership and Österreich-Schlesien. Austria wants a bunch of things. Why would you include Bavaria in this whole situation? Austria, you goobers? Those people should be on your side. So this creates an interesting situation because Russia's going to try to take over Circassia at some point. And what this means is we've kind of shoved ourselves directly into the middle of that. Contentious topics. An event organized by the Protestant traditionalist movement transformed into a brawl as opponents of the movement infiltrated the crowd. When the police arrived, no participant was willing to give a consistent statement. Most of them had at least one bruise, a cut lip, or a bloody nose. His was much less honorably obtained than most of theirs. He whacked his hip against the corner of a table while rushing for the exit, only to run nearly headlong into an approaching gendarme. Two conflicting stories rose to mind. One he would tell to the detective, and another he would tell to his friends. Give them all a day in jail to cool off, landowners unhappy, or seek charges to the event's organizers, Protestant traditionalist movement, weaker landowners even more unhappy. I'm just going to do the first one. I don't necessarily want to weaken the Protestant traditionalist movement. And we now have private schools. Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and move the schools all the way up to level 3 immediately. It's going to cost us a little bit more bureaucracy, but we got plenty of that. I should have a decaying malice to bureaucracy. Panaquati diplomatic, right? Shouldn't be a problem. I'm not worried about it. No. Yeah, a Minister of Corruption. Alright. That was the thing I did to get dedicated police force. Alright, so that's over here. Circassia backs down. Alright, cool. So, that's going to put us into a lot of wars with Russia. Good news! We've developed craft paper, which is going to make our paper a very well sought-after commodity in the world. That's a prestige good. As you may or may not know, prestige goods are a very cool, neat thing to be producing. They are basically a good that more people want. We're going to be able to reclaim some bureaucracy as soon as we finish this colonization, though, and we can drop back our colonial affairs to at least a bit. And then when this gold mine gets done, and then this railway is done, we'll finally start improving the size of our military again. And that'll be nice. Now you better run, Russian-American company. I'll get your giblets. Heck is going on with market access? Do I need to build Britain more freaking ports? I think maybe I do. Rubber's been discovered in Senegal. That's fun. Yeah, I think I do. But I gotta do other stuff first. I gotta get my gold mines up and running. Again, long-term financial needs. Where are you? You're in Hyderabad. Okay, that's not relevant to me. The rural folks sure do love becoming influential and then ceasing to be used. I must say, this seems to be something they enjoy a bunch. We are on attack here. So we should be able to get moving forward no problem and get this war done right quick. And there it goes. Alright, so colonization is rolling. Let's start the Canadian Pacific Railway. Let's start the Metropolitan Police. Farms to factories. This one's not really urgent. Urbanized Canada. This one's just kind of gonna come to pass by itself pretty much. Although maybe not. We've mostly been urbanizing Ontario and Quebec, and that's just kind of been how we do things. Still a little bit short on bureaucratic capacity in both those states. BTW. So yeah, let's build a little bit more. Oh, you know what? No, I don't need to do that. What I need to do is fix up my freaking administration. That's what I need to do. That's what's goofing my giblets here. I've got hereditary bureaucrats, and I need something better. So, let's pull the petite bourgeoisie into the government. Let's reduce taxes. No, that's only going to give me 5 legitimacy. And let's go to elected bureaucrats. They would be willing to let us go to appointed. This one's cheaper institutions. This one is higher tax capacity. I need the tax capacity. So we'll go to appointed. And can I negotiate? I can negotiate with the industrialists. But I don't think I need to. We got wars with the Ottoman Empire and China. Either way, I'm going to guard my personal front. Because I don't want to get myself into a situation again, the way I had last time. The enemy's moving forces here, but I think I can take it. Alright, so let's put the expansions in Ontario ahead of the ones in Quebec. And we'll move our road maintenance decree from Northern Columbia to Ontario. And then while those are building, we'll move the one from the Yukon to Quebec. And that'll be just fine. I'm spending a lot of cash. I'm spending a little bit in interest. I'm spending a bunch on funding Britain. Small amount on subsidies, but that's really nothing. Oh boy. Rural folk need to decide if they want to be an interest group or not. Okay. I need to get some more water. Watch the game for me. Don't let everything get goofed. I'm relying on you. I'm relying on you to keep an eye on things around here. All right, I'll be back in a second.
Oh no, you beefed it! You goofed it all up!
I'm just kidding. Nothing happened. We're fine. We're fine. We've been fine. The only thing that happened is my headphones got unplugged, which means that might have not captured any of that, but that's okay. All right, law enforcement up to 3. We are advancing on the front against the Russians. And that's looking good. Wonderful. Well depleted in the South Island. That's not my business. And are there fronts? There's a front in Southeast Asia. Oh, yes. We've got... Britain has decided to get into 2 wars at once. Which is just fine. Now would be a great time for me to declare independence. But I've decided not to do that. So, well, not to do it right now at any rate. By I decided not to, I really mean I can't get my liberty desire up. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it with army power projection. So, the war with Egypt is... Okay, the Ottoman Empire is going to steal the primary territories of Egypt. And then, between us and China, we're going to steal Korea, we're going to transfer to Tibet, and we're going to grab a treaty port in Yangnam. Alright, interesting. Grassroots support for law. The political wills and desires of the lower classes will always remain an opaque matter. For whatever reason, support for appointed bureaucrats has spread like wildfire across Canada, spurred by charismatic speakers and lively debates in small-time social clubs. They're backing what now? Well, who are we to complain? While their support was never a prerequisite for success, it sure doesn't hurt to have it either. Public enthusiasm expedites reform, stronger intelligentsia, 20% increase in active success chance, or uses common ground to calm the masses. 20% of lower certain pops in Alberta become more loyalist. I'm going to do the first one. That's going to give us a really strong edge on our enemies in the stall camp, and that is going to be good. Students rally to the... Okay. Settle down. Students rally to the Protestant traditionalist movement. A group of students attending the university in Quebec have arranged a demonstration in support of the Protestant traditionalist movement. The display has inspired other students to join the cause. The lecture hall was barren. There were always one or two students missing for illnesses, travel, or family occasions, but nothing of this scale. There were 3 or 4 students per row, each thrown into sharp contrast by the empty seats to their sides. It was material for a lecture of its own, he thought. Like a heap of sand whose grains had blown away one after another until its form suddenly changed, so followed what had once been a class. The youth will lead Canada into the future. Increased universal pop political strength and reduced university throughput in Quebec. Stronger Protestant traditionalist movement. Or they ought to focus on their studies. Half the modifiers for Quebec, no stronger Protestant traditionalist movement, but 5% of academics in Quebec become more radical. I'm going to do the second one. I'm fine with a few radical academics. A scandal in Manitoba. Police have shut down a notorious male brothel. The arrested proprietor has revealed that John MacDonald is part of his clientele, and this information is leaking to the press.
Oh boy!
Oh, man. What a situation. What a situation you found yourself in. Historical character John MacDonald, governor of the Dominion of Canada. Ah, wonderful. Wonderful. I'm just going to let everyone in the audience just soak that in. John MacDonald getting found out to be patron of a notorious male brothel. All right. An indescribably loathsome scandal has struck Manitoba. The captured boys were made to confess, and the evening news reports that another sensation about this affair will soon burst. 22 men implicated, blue bloods and others, have fled from Canada. John MacDonald must resign immediately or try to cover up the story. Oh, interesting. So they've changed the cover-up thing. Interesting. So the cover-up is 50% chance cover-up revealed for 11 months, minus 20 legitimacy, and embroiled in scandal, minus 25 popularity for 9 years, 50% chance of nothing. Or he must resign immediately. He leaves political life. I like keeping him. Let's see what happens. Try to cover up the story. Yeah, I did it. Oh, man. Oh, this is really... I've really goobered myself here. All right, we're going to have to drop taxes so that we can keep enacting appointed bureaucrats. We're still in a pretty illegitimate government, which is making things difficult. Difficult, lemon difficult. But, you know, we're doing our best. We're getting what we need to do done. We've closed out the front. So let's put our armies... up our sleeveys. Let's put them in Egypt. That'll take a long time to get there, but that's okay. I don't. This is a British war. This is. I mean, we're helping the Ottomans here. Like that's really what this war is about. This is not urgent in any way, shape, or form. And the Russians are just trying to steal cars from the Ottoman Empire, which not really a big deal. I could live without getting myself involved in that, frankly. Yes, we do have an unstable government, but that's okay. That's okay. The taxes are down. Taxes are down. Why are you complaining when taxes are down? All right. Let's get these railways finished up. Let's go ahead and move our road maintenance decree from Yukon to Quebec. Then we'll build the barracks. And there's the Canadian Pacific Railway. What's going on with our government? The last spike. The Canada Pacific Railway has finally been completed, connecting the Atlantic and Pacific coasts. The new railway opens up new opportunities for settlement across the western provinces. The stroke released a trigger for a burst of speed, for a burst of sound which... Okay, hold on. This is a poem. This is a poem. I gotta read this like a poem. The stroke released the trigger for a burst of sound which stretched the gamut of the air. The shouts of engineers and dynamiters, of locomotive workers and explorers, flanking the rails were but a tuning up for a massed continental chorus. The coast holds the most promise, extra migration traction and railway throughput in northern Colombia, or there's great potential in the prairies, extra migration attraction and railway throughput in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. Let's boost the prairies. Okay. I'm gonna drop. Okay, okay, we're only at 24. Let's drop taxes to lowest, because I want to keep getting this rolling. And what we'll do is we'll finish building out our barracks, and then we'll stop government construction, and we can just leave the entire construction pool to the, or we can leave all our construction capacity to the investment pool. And that'll be nice, and we'll deal with the food thing later. Because I'm paying a decent amount in interest now, and I don't love paying interest. This is what happens when your overlord puts you into 2 wars. Alright, so armies are on the way. Ooh, we got a shortage of convoys. That's not great. We need to subsidize our ports as well. I'm already subsidizing ports. Well, things will be what they are. Asamond Lovenbolk. Here, are you guys gonna go to the front or something? They're on their way. There we go. Now they're getting there. A little bit low in organization, but they got full supplies, so they should be going up. Once they're at the front, that is. Alright, there's hydraulic cranes. That's wonderful. Well, progress to consideration. Excellent. Alright, and now in tech, we're finally working on breech-loading artillery, which is also spreading to us, which is very convenient. Alright, so after this, we'll circle back to production. We'll snag dynamite. Then we'll go to society. We'll knock out the rest of the tier 2s. Organized sports will surely be finished by then. Actually, postal savings is more important than psychiatry. And then we'll snag ourselves steel frame buildings and pan-nationalism. Yep, that should be fine. That should be just fine. Northern Italian mass immigration. Excellent. So, barracks are nearly done. So our pausing of the government construction queue is imminent. We're number 11 in GDP, which is pretty cool. Russian-American companies in default. Why are you having penalties? Because you're short on supply because of shipping lanes. Well, that's just unfortunate. I can't rightly do anything about that, so it'll just have to be what it is. The Egyptians are definitely... Alright, Russia's bailed out of the war. The Egyptians are losing, so this war is basically in the bag. And it's the front against China that that's really a part of the war we're concerning ourselves with. Occitan mass immigration. Excellent. To Saskatchewan and the surrounding states. Wonderful. Now the question I have to ask myself is, do I turn around and put immigration promoting decrees in those areas to piggyback off this? And I don't think necessarily yet, because I don't have the capacity to continue to develop them. And without that, it's all going to be a hairball. Alright, battles are going well. We're both sides are stuck in the mud, but, you know, what's new? It's rather part of being in the British Empire, really. Egypt sure is taking their sweet time to peace out, but again, I guess they are going to lose their most productive territories, so it only makes sense. You know, these three territories are really some of the most important areas economically for Egypt, and they're also where a lot of the great the historical monuments and other historical things are. So I think it makes good sense that they would want to keep that as long as they can and take as much of the Ottomans and force the Ottomans to pay as much for it as they can get them to. Crooked connections. Frustrated with the lengthy legal process surrounding appointed bureaucrats, Adams George Archibald of the Intelligentsia has approached us with an offer to expedite the process, utilizing his personal connections within the state apparatus. A few words in the right ears is all I'm asking for. Everything within the bounds of the law, of course. Sorry. Everything within the bounds of the law, of course. Although I cannot guarantee our opponents in this matter will view such actions with much glee. Granted permission, time is the essence. Salty petite bourgeoisie, reduce enactment time. Or no, he does by the book or not at all. Increase enactment time. I'm going to do the first one. My petite bourgeoisie are extremely happy right now. They're the ones helping make this happen, so it's fine. Alright, this should be the end of the war in Egypt. So let's get our armies moving to the China front. And that's the war in Egypt. So, our units are now going somewhere else. But as soon as they're in Ottoman territory, they should gain the ability to reroute. Oh no, because the Ottomans are not actually in this war. No, well, as soon as they're on the ocean, they should gain the ability to reroute. And so they have. Alright. We finished our farms, or we finished our barracks, so let's halt construction. We're at a very, very unstable government due to the scandal, but the scandal shouldn't... Okay, actually, that's the scandal. Wonderful. Alright, well, we weathered it. It cost us a pile of money, but it was basically okay. Protestant Traditionalist Movement organizes in southern Colombia. Organizers affiliated with the Protestant Traditionalist Movement have embarked upon a focused campaign to inspire support for state religion in southern Colombia. Members of every region in the world like to say that their home has a long and unique history of tight-knit community. The organizer almost agreed. The problem, of course, was that said community often did not extend to outsiders. He'd been thrown out on his ear more times than he could count, but he persisted nonetheless. If he could introduce the right phrases to the right circles, perhaps even an idea that had been rejected out of hand at first, would begin to find purchase. There are plenty of willing ears in southern Colombia. A stronger Protestant Traditionalist movement increased universal political strength and increased radicals from political movements. Or they must be concerned with far more grounded things. Half the modifiers for southern Colombia, no stronger Protestant Traditionalist movement. I think I'm going to go with the second one. I don't necessarily need a stronger Protestant Traditionalist movement. There's a lot of cash in the investment pool right now. So maybe that means I build more construction centers. Has Brazil fallen to be a minor power? Ooh, Serbian mass immigration. Excellent. No, they've become a great power. Good on you, Emperor Pedro. You did it. Alright, my convoy situation is pretty terrible. And that has made the organization of our army very, very bad. And they formed a power block called the Universal League. Fascinating. I don't know what I can do about this, really. I mean, I can build more ports, but I can't afford to build more ports. So that's just going to kind of be what it is. Yeah, maybe the only solution is more construction sectors. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll build 3 in Ontario. I'll throw them at the top of the queue. I'll unpause government construction for just a few weeks to get them built. Maybe I'll finish out the wheat farms in Idaho. Just because they're nearly done. Well, actually, with the private sector building a bunch of stuff. Okay, I'm gonna get this army on defense. I'm gonna need a new leader because this guy's very old. Let's get an intelligentsia fellow. He's a modernizer. We'll give him a little promotion. We'll put him on adamant defense. Again, this is all due to supply issues. Alright, now we'll halt government construction once again to get our cash flow back to a reasonable place. You know, Britain may rule the waves, but they're having a hard time keeping our convoys rolling, which is not great, to be completely honest. We are winning on defense, at least. I gotta say, the temptation to simply demobilize the lads is high. But we got them up to as high organization as we can get, so let's go ahead and move them forward. private sector is building some ports, so that should be helping a little bit. Now, how does the change... Hey, there's organized sports. Now, how does that change affect my liberty desire? It's not great. My army power projection has not gone up. Which is a shame, because my army power projection is a pretty good spot, all told. Now, which unit here is having a hard time? It's the barracks in Manitoba. Dang. Alright. Let's... I guess we'll put this barracks in Ontario instead. And we'll unpause again. We'll spend the money. I'll spend the money, alright? I'll spend the money. Gosh dang it. You know, what I really need to fight this war is ports, but... Again, it's not a... It is a tragedy if I take a lot of casualties. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not a tragedy if I take casualties, but here's the thing. Casualties are providing me with fervor. And fervor... I got a setback. Gosh dang it. Well, that's okay. We're in adoption. We're very close to having it finished. Casualties are providing us with the ability to increase our liberty desire, and increasing our liberty desire is quite good. I guess I'll finish the wheat farms in southern Colombia now. Now let me see. Let's compress this a little bit. Alright, we're at 10. That's good. And we're on attack, so that's fine. Alright. Pause construction again. Yeah, I suppose the answer is I simply need to build more ports. I think I can only build ports in Quebec and over on the west coast. Which means building on the west coast might be sensible. We'll see how things go. For tech, we're still working on breech-loading artillery. Once we get that, I can upgrade my my artillery, and that'll be really, really nice. Now, this number I'm feeling a little bit scared about. I might need to pull back on decrees and do some more consumption taxes. I think I can live without the resource industry and the greener grasses campaigns. Because I need consumption taxes. So, let's throw one onto luxury clothes. Let's throw one onto tobacco. And that'll be just fine. That'll produce plenty of cash flow for the nation. Obviously the war is going swimmingly and everything's going great. Britain has basically failed to invade Joseon. There's a huge army over here consisting largely of irregular infantry and line infantry. Which I understand why that's what they're doing with, because that's what they've got. But, still a little bit of a bad time. United States, you're going to have your Civil War? Oswald Lowell. They're going to laissez-faire. Oh, they're on slave trade. Oh, interesting. They went with slavery maxing. Curious. Public address goes awry. A stall event. What was meant as a routine speech about the merits of appointed bureaucrats by Adams George Archibald has quickly devolved into a public relations disaster for the intelligentsia. Fumbling his way through a series of poorly presented talking points, Adams George Archibald's arguments have been viciously and convincingly picked apart by his political opponents. The question on everyone's lips now is merely if this mishap is due to the inherent failings of appointed bureaucrats, or can be chalked down to the political incompetence of the intelligentsia. It's the fault of this poorly thought-out proposal, minus 15% enactment success chance. Adams George Archibald must take the blame for this setback. He loses some popularity, the intelligentsia become weaker, minus 10% enactment chance, or scrap the current draft and make a show of a rewrite. He loses a little bit of popularity, increased enactment time, but increased enactment success chance, and one setback. I'm actually going to pick the third one. That puts us up at 41%. We've only got a 7% stall chance, so I'm feeling pretty confident in my ability to continue to succeed here. I love water. I love drinking water. I love putting water in my mouth hole. Now, let me see. We are still a little short on... We're a little short on bureaucracy, actually. I guess I have been increasing the size of institutions rather william-nilliam, but I don't know why literacy is going down when we've just built a huge... I went to private schools. What the hell? I thought I went to public. Did I goober myself? I goobered myself. That's what happened. I thought I was going to public schools. I went to private schools. Well, that was dumb. That was dumb. No buts about it. Can-do attitude. Oh boy, I love this event. Soldiers are complaining they have no way to open their canned food. Sure, the food's a bit better, but what's the point if we can't get to it, eh? Some lads use rocks, others knives. The only reliable thing is how bloody annoying it is to eat. Spend some money to develop a way, costs the government some cash, or they'll figure it out. Armed forces unhappy. How are the armed forces doing? I'm gonna spend the money. If they become not marginalized, it'll matter. Force comparison here could surely be better, but obviously I can't fix our supply problem because I can't afford to build ports. Although the private sector is building ports. They're building ports, but good. So hopefully those ports get employed at a reasonable time frame. And that gets us the convoys we need to increase our supplies. In fact, I can also build ports in the Maritimes. That's true. In fact, perhaps, how close am I to a better port method? I've got gantry cranes right here, so I could theoretically start working on that as soon as I've got breech-loading artillery fixed up. Nevertheless, I think I'm going to stay where I am for now because I really do need dynamite and the other techs there. So I think as soon as we get breech-loading artillery, we're going to swap over to siege artillery, and that's also going to increase our power projection, which is very good in terms of getting free of British influence. Which, of course, there is a lot of in Canada. Because of all of Britain's freaking defensive pacts and whatnot. Hopefully they get really infamous. Hopefully they really goof up their whole structure and get really infamous and otherwise make a bunch of unforced errors. And there's appointed bureaucrats. Excellent. Petite bourgeoisie, your contributions have been appreciated. Get the hell out of the government. I can't believe I went to private schools. I feel like such a goof. This is unreasonable. Everyone would prefer if I were not... I could go to Technocracy. The only people who would be unhappy with Technocracy would be the landowners. And I think those guys are idiots. So, there's breech-loading artillery. Let's go to Technocracy. Let's Technocracy max, shall we? Alright. Yes, and now it's time to upgrade our military. And supply and whatnots are doing better, because we're doing better with convoys. Why am I suddenly short of... Why am I suddenly short of bureaucracy? I just need to build more bureaucracy. Oh, right, because I just changed up the structure of the bureaucracy. That's okay, then. I've mostly mitigated my... my shortage of taxation capacity, so that's very important. I'm going to start building again. We're just going to build one more level of government admin in Ontario to give ourselves a buffer. Oh, actually, I don't need to do that. Well, I'm building it anyway. Alright, let's dial back colonial affairs, because I don't need colonial affairs anymore. Colonial affairs is not producing anything that I require, right? Yeah, reduce infamy generation against unrecognized powers. That doesn't really help me. That doesn't really provide me anything I could want. Again, landowners are biggest mad, but that's okay. Whew. Loving the cash flow here. Again, a lot of this money is going to Britain and to interest, which I don't love, but I can't get free of Britain until my armies are stronger. How much army power projection has Britain got? They got quite a bit. I can't have more, but I can have more than I've currently got, at least. This has been a long war. Hopefully this will provide me with a whole mess of fervor. I'm getting quite a few casualties. So, you know, hopefully that'll do it. Let me see. Wow, we're at 2 hours. 2 hours have just flown by. Golly. I feel like I could go a little longer. It's actually not that late. Said the cat, knowing full well it was pretty late. It isn't that late. I'm basically all right. Let's build a port in the Maritimes. There's already a port in the Maritimes, but let's build another port in the Maritimes. We'll unpause government construction and we'll get it done. And maybe we'll finish out the rest of these buildings as well. I feel like I can kind of afford it. The new machine. A group of influential engineers have greatly improved productivity in the fertilizer plants of Ontario through the application of scientific principles. They suggest that under technocracy, they would be able to apply these principles to the mechanisms of government. A salient point of intelligence is understanding one's limitations. Through this comes the recognition that one's experience is finite and subject to perspective. Without this pillar, human intelligence is prone to hubris. For example, someone may conceive the idea that it is possible to treat bureaucracy as a machine rather than the cluster of skills that it is. Thusly, treat humans as problems to solve, rather than independent variables with experience and intelligence of their own. The industrial sector needs the most. Increased enactment success chance. Increased manufacturing industries throughput for 5 years. That's pretty good. Or a fascinating proposal, one entire phase. And more throughput modifier. Oh, no, just for the fertilizer plants. I'm going to do the first one. I think getting higher enactment success chance is better than getting a phase at this stage. I'm feeling pretty confident. Nobody to negotiate with, but I'm feeling pretty confident. Nice. I got the steam donkey unlocked. I think that might actually be better for my mines overall. Yes. At least for the coal mines. It's fine. It's fine. It's reasonable. Glass just disappeared. Could certainly use more groceries. My food industry has produced exclusively groceries, and they've been pretty productive. Well, there's glass. They didn't move down that much. Fam, I gotta work on light industry. I gotta have native light industry. But also, I can't afford to do too much work on other stuff because I don't have any money. I'm pretty low on cash. I'm still paying around 7K in interest. How much debt am I currently holding? 2.75 million. It's not that much. It's not that much. I'll probably finish these livestock ranches in the Northwest Territory. And then I'll pause government construction once again. And that'll be just fine. Industrialists petition the government. John McDowell, the ever-efficacious leader of the industrialists, has approached the government with a plan to enact private health insurance. A successful enactment is certain to contribute to his reputation as an effective politician. A word, please. The minister, halfway out the door, startled at the sound. A man stood in the hallway, bearing a leather-bound dossier. MacDonald, he knew. His appearance was unmistakable. Yes, of course. he said. Should I? MacDonald gave a nod and handed over the folder. At least 100 pages, judging by the weight. I'm looking to raise the first draft tomorrow. He said, I would be honored to have your support. We'll see what we can do. Try to pass private health insurance. Offer tenant farmers as a compromise. Try to pass tenant farmers. But they must understand the present situation doesn't allow for this. Salty industrialists reduce legitimacy. I'm going to say we'll see what we can do. I do need a health system, so, might as well be a private one. Nothing bad can come of that, cries an American. Alright, so once these ranches are done, we'll go ahead and pause government construction once again. We'll leave that, all the rest of the construction capacity to the investment pool, who are not spending as much of it as I would like. But that's okay. My treasury is improving, and that's what's important. We are actually advancing in China, and our force comparison is improving. So that's pretty cool. We've been in this war a long time. We're reclaiming a little bit of bureaucratic capacity by reducing colonial affairs, which does continue to go as planned. Simon Osgood has died. I forget who that is. Our landowners remain biggest mad, but that's okay. Those guys are jerks. I don't like them. So basically at our current cash flow, we're 10k in the black per week, which means it's about 2 years for us to knock out $1 million in debt. We got a little bit of additional expenses rolling from the developing the can opener, which shouldn't be too much longer. And there's our piece. Alright, well that puts us in a better place because now our armies are not mobilized. So I'm going to continue to allow the private sector to use the construction queue for now. Maybe I will simply unpause government construction, finish out all this stuff. Maybe that's the right call. No, I've still got emergency relief running in Oregon. No, I don't. I have the capacity to have emergency relief running in Oregon. I don't need emergency relief in Oregon, I don't think. Oh, there is a starvation issue here. Let's subsidize these farms. No, these farms are already fully employed. I don't need to subsidize them. Weird. I don't know what to make of that. Maybe they need to be fishing more. I don't know. I think I need more construction sectors. I think that's what I need, because my private investment pool is not able to successfully build up. To successfully build as fast as it should. So I'm gonna get building more construction sectors. I mean that just makes sense. So we're gonna go up to 16. That's actually a pretty rock solid number for this period in the game. And after that, we're going to simply let the investment pool do as it likes for a bit. Although, with construction, cash flow looks like it's going okay now, so we'll see what comes of that. Alright, that number is a lot less good looking. Pause that. And now, is the private sector still not using all the construction gear? Oh no, now they are. Now they are. Now they're building stuff. They're building a lot of stuff in Britain, which is interesting. Okay, here we go. Now they're starting to do some development here in Canada. That's good. That's very good. So we'll let the private investment pool drain for a little bit, and that will allow us to continue to function. Now I could build even more construction capacity. I've only got 16 sectors. It's good to have 20. 20 is a very good amount to have, but on the other hand, I don't want to outrun my capacity and have and be like overspending on that, particularly when I'm in a debt. It's not a debt crisis. It's just debt. It's just debt, and I don't like to be in debt. I'm spending, you know, about half of my take-home on debt payments, and that makes my economy a little bit unstable. Now, liberty desire is still low, but I got pretty okay army power projection. If I wanted to go absolutely buck wild, what I could... Why are you guys so low in organization? I'm not sure. If I wanted to go absolutely buck wild, I could create another army and just max it up. Like, really just go buck wild. So how much am I spending on military right now? I'm spending about 10k. It's really closer to 9k. On goods for military buildings and military wages. So, realistically, I could probably afford to build more by a significant amount. And maybe we do that. Maybe we do that. What do we want leading things? Ooh, this guy's good. I'll have him running stuff. Honoré Meloche. Honoré Meloche. Yeah, and we'll do 15 levels of skirmish infantry. I'm gonna try building up the middle areas of the country. Ten levels of artillery. And 5 levels of cavalry. And what we'll do... No, I don't want these. I don't want to build these yet. But we'll get them rolling. Opium addiction. Athabasca people are experiencing severe effects of opium addiction. The use and abuse of the substance is spread throughout Manitoba. The opium eater lies under the weight of incubus and nightmare. He lies in sight of all that he would fain perform, just as a man forcibly confined to his bed by the mortal languor of a relaxing disease, who is compelled to witness injury or outrage offered to some object of his tenderest love. He curses the spells which chain him down from motion. He would lay down his life if he might but get up and walk, but he is as powerless as an infant, and cannot even attempt to rise. Tragic. -2 standard of living for Athabasca people in Manitoba, and 3% additional mortality in Manitoba. That's brutal. Alright, come on, give me a technocracy. You know I need a technocracy. Hey, we got postal savings. Excellent. There's dynamite, then psychiatry, then steel frame buildings. Wonderful. Also change government legitimacy down by 20. That's unusual. But hopefully it'll make us more flexible. We've got a market liberal in charge of the intelligentsia now, so hopefully forming them up into a party might allow us to really do things. So who are you? Adams George Archibald is a historical character. Interesting. Quite curious. Quite curious. We've got liberals in other areas as well. We've got to do private health insurance as soon as Technocracy is finished, but we can definitely live with that. I'm kind of desperate for dynamite at this stage because I need to get it for my minting industry, for my my mining industries. But also that's minting, right? Like that's minting. Circassian North Caucasus. Interesting. My private sector is building gold mines in Circassia. How curious. Okay, investment pool is draining at a good rate, but our credit is being reduced at a similar rate, so I'm feeling reasonably confident about that. Oh, I love staying hydrated. Could do the Metropolitan Police. I think I've got the institutional capacity for that. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and do it. I might need to build one more level of bureaucracy, but that wouldn't be a tragedy. Yeah, let's go ahead and book her do it. I could perhaps cut one more decree. Nah, I only got road maintenance decrees rolling at present. And those road maintenance decrees are good. Although I guess maybe I don't need them right now. If I cut them, what could I consumption tax? Coffee. It's not really worth that much. Nah, I'll leave them. They're better where they are. And there's Technocracy. So, we've reduced the legitimacy of the government. Well, things haven't really changed yet. So first, let's go to Sorry. So first, let's go to private healthcare. Because I said I would do that. Trade unions are actually not okay with it, but that's okay. They're not mad enough to be mad, so it is what it is. Now, I've got the new machine, but I'm not going to be able to get to compulsory primary school because I'm headed up by the industrialists, so it functionally does not matter. Ooh, Polish mass immigration. Very cool. How are we doing with our debt? We're slowly working away at it. Investment pool is draining, but it's draining at an acceptable rate. And again, the thing about the investment pool is, as it drains, it's building the industries that will allow it to continue to replenish itself. So I'm feeling good overall about the general situation. I am a little bit short on authority, but that's okay. My radical and loyalist comparison is pretty alright. This is very good for early on in the for this point in the game, so I'm feeling reasonable about it. And I think it's time to unpause government construction. So we'll throw those road maintenance decrees over into Nunavut and this is Alberta. Oh, I'm dumb. I've only got one more. Great Britain's going after the Khalsa Raj. Rousing speech captivates the public. This afternoon, John MacDonald, leader of the industrialists, delivered a fiery speech advocating the enactment of private health insurance. Making an appearance before the public in Fort Douglas's main square, John MacDonald's powerful rhetoric left even his most embittered political opponents impressed. Excerpts from the speech are already being circulated across Canada, fanning the fires of an already roaring debate. This should ease the path to reform greatly, increase enactment success chance. More performances like this reflect well on John MacDonald and his cause. He becomes more popular, the industrialists get stronger, not quite as much enactment success chance. I'm going to do the second one. I think that's fine. Do I get involved in this whole Khalsa Raj situation? I think perhaps I do not. I mean, I technically get involved regardless, but I don't have to mobilize an army necessarily. I don't know if anyone else is going to... I don't know if it's going to matter if I get involved. That's really the main thing. Alright, so there's none of it finished. We'll do Alberta next. Just kind of doing what we can here with this. I do got to kind of micro it, but that's okay. So 2 more weeks on here. And And then we'll swap over to Northern Colombia. After that, we'll go to the Maritimes, and then finally we'll settle on Manitoba for a while. Gold discovered in Transorangia. Alright, interesting. So that's in southern Africa. Very cool. The new machine is actually decreasing. No interest groups in government support technocracy. Well, them's the breaks. It simply is what it is. I don't think I've ever actually finished the new machine. I don't know what it really does. Alright. This is the Maritimes, just for a week or two. 3 weeks, it turns out. And then we'll move it to Manitoba for a while. And that will be just fine. Then I'll probably move it back to Ontario. How's my national debt going? It's back above 2 million. Don't love that. But I suppose it is what it is. A donation of knowledge. John MacDonald's offered to spend some of their personal wealth to fund the creation of a university in Manitoba, though this will likely give the industrialists some influence. The John MacDonald University will be a proud bastion of learning in these times of rapid progress, where knowledge truly is power. A wonderful idea, creates a level 1 university in Manitoba, or no, we can't give them a platform, industrialists mad. I'm going to go with the free university. I think that's just fine. It's going to cost the government money, but not right now. You know, it's going to cost us money in a more sort of continuous sense. Actually, I'm going to put this barracks up here with the other ones in Manitoba, so that it can be built at the same time, and I won't have to worry about my road maintenance decree as much. I do have the ability to throw together another company, but is there one I want? Ooh, manufacturing industries throughput. That's really good. But there's another one that gives me better bonuses for... You know, that one's not nearly as powerful, actually. I've decided manufacturing industries throughput is better. Although refined steel is very good. Nah, I'm gonna go with the cooling one. Popular playwright endorses reform. In the midst of the debate surrounding private health insurance, one of the country's leading playwrights, strongly associated with the industrialists, has staged a widely acclaimed play whose politically laden theme makes no secret of the author's desire for the law to be passed. The man's viewpoints may be somewhat partisan, but sir, you cannot argue with his prose. Private health insurance will be on everyone's lips now, sure puts the industrialists in a good light. Let's ensure the play gets a wider international audience. I'm going with the prestige. You got 45% success chance, no stall chance. I think I'm feeling pretty good. I'm at 259 in terms of prestige. Great Britain is at 1509. So, how's the diplomacy situation going? Okay, my liberty desire is a lot higher, because my army power projection continues to be rock solid. It is going down. Maybe it went up a bunch because they had some kind of infamy problem. Anyway, it's going to be even better in a minute because I'm going to be building an army. An army worthy of Mordor, you might say. Alright, so the battle's going fine. Estonian modernist revolt. You know, Britain, you should really support them. We're a very shortage of glass. Interesting. I can't. I have to build barracks. Ooh, British people are arriving in Canada. That's excellent. Rock solid immigration. Very good long term. Yeah, and after that, I will simply have built probably basically as much as I need for a little bit, and then I'll continue to allow the investment pool to use the full construction capacity of my nation as my army increases in size. Again, getting my army moving upwards in size is very important for the whole Britain situation. Say, Britain. Oh, we can't demand a state because we're in the midst of a war. But as soon as we're not in a war, I'm gonna try to get Britain, old buddy, old pal. Hold on. Oh, they're committed in a diplomatic plan. Britain, what are you doing? The whole modernizing. Oh, actually, and they're shooting at the French. How curious. I don't seem to be involved in that, which is interesting. I mean, no objections here, I guess. I'm not unhappy to not see Canadian young men going to die in a war in Africa, far from our beloved shores. Alright, discord within the landowners. Advanced chance. An influential faction within the landowners has grown frustrated with their comrades' neutrality on the topic of private health insurance. Themselves in favor of the law, they've now resolved to form a separate political faction intent on passing it. How can you all stand idly by and watch the world pass before your eyes? Have you a sense of honor, of duty to your fellow man? I say nay to such lack of ambition, and I dare say I am not alone in this. With their support, the bill shall pass, extra enactment success chance, landowners slightly weaker, or the industrialists extend an open hand to these mavericks. Landowners significantly weaker, industrialists stronger, increased enactment success chance, but only by 10% as opposed to 15% with the other one. I'm going to go with the second one. 5% enactment success chance is not that great of a difference for me, but having the landowners be a lot weaker and the industrialists be stronger is very good. Now, at this point, I could theoretically pull the intelligentsia into the government, which would allow me to get up to some stuff. I do like having a slightly more diverse government. That's curious. I thought they had investment rights in me automatically, but them's the breaks, I suppose. Alright. French and British are fighting. And that successfully becomes not at all my problem. Now, I could get my liberty desire up by doing things like requesting market control. I have started to develop a good amount of fervor now. I got academics, I got a national awakening rolling, I got some casualties, I got quite a bit of literacy, so I could build up universities. I'm going to request control of my market. They're going to say no, but that's going to increase my liberty desire. And together with all the barracks that I'm building, that's generally pretty good. And with my prestige increasing, I could also, I could build a pretty small fleet and have that be a really rock solid increase in my prestige for a pretty marginal cost, which would be nice. Ooh, especially with ironclads spread. If I could build ironclads, that would be a pretty significant increase in my my overall capabilities. Although I would need gantry cranes, and currently I'm saving for steel frame construction. So you know, we're rolling. We're rolling. Iroquois and National Awakening. Interesting. Excuse me. What is going on over here? Elsass-Lothringen of the Swiss Uprising. How curious. Cosmopolitan. Can I see what that does? Hit me with unlocked. Where is it? Where are we? Cosmopolitan. Starting with 5 or fewer, have 10 non-primary cultures present in your country, and have all their constituent pops with full acceptance. Cool. That's very cool. That's very based and good. There's private health insurance. Nothing bad will ever come of this. I can go up a few more levels. I don't want to necessarily build up any more governance capacity right now, though. The United States of America, improving relations. Well, I would be delighted to have better relations with the United States of America. I would be so delighted. And I got a little I got a little authority, so let's put a consumption tax in there. We are building our barracks. We're getting our next army rolling. Feeling pretty good about that. Maybe we'll go with just a little bit more governance capacity. So let's take a quick look at where we're close to being short. It's really only Ontario. So that's fine. We'll just build a little bit more governance capacity in Ontario. Nothing to worry about with the other stuff. No rush, no stress, no mess. Nothing like that at all. Do I build it now? I think maybe yes. No, I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush. I got 22 left in the pot. It's fine. Beautiful. There's dynamite. There's vulcanization. Vulcanization doesn't really help me. Although I suppose in the future it will. For now, let's get all of our mines over to using dynamite. And of course, we'll get our explosives industry. We'll get our munitions plants using explosive shells. We'll get our explosives industry using vacuum evap. And that is going to make all of our stuff crazy efficient. Our iron mines want to move away from Steam Donkey. I guess all of our mines do. That's fine. There's a level 5 institution that's going to finish out the Metropolitan Police. And we'll private... Maybe we won't. I don't know. The Metropolitan Police. The dedicated police force has solved a series of high-profile murders in Fort Douglas thanks to our investment in their institution. Public confidence in the police is at an all-time high. Fort Douglas by gaslight can be a treacherous place. The papers would have you believe the danger lurks around every corner. But all of that is set to change. With a peeler patrolman on every street, our citizens will be able to stride confidently in the knowledge that they are protected from the criminal element. Medals for all our brave bobbies. 33% of servicemen in Manitoba become more loyalist. Or Fort Douglas's finest are on the case. Reduce radicals from political movements in Manitoba for 10 years. I'm just going to do the first one. We'll give the bobbies medals. Interesting. Okay, so these businesses are more profitable with rail transit rolling. Not the lead mines, though. The lead mines prefer road carts. Do they? I don't seem to. What about the iron mines? The iron mines definitely prefer to be doing what they're currently doing. Coal mines on rail transit? Coal mines do like rail transport. Okay. Alright, you know, we're figuring it out. We're figuring it out. Okay, the iron mines like being on rail transport as well, although that probably means I have a bit of a shortage of transportation. Yeah, in Quebec, so that needs to be built up. But hopefully the private sector will handle it. Oh, all right, I'll do it. I'll do it myself. I need to build 2. Okay, there's one more just got into the queue. Exploding demand. The development of more stable explosives has led to an uptick in demand for explosive materials. Our military and industrial sectors have entered a bidding war to secure shares of our production. Civilian applications? Really? What does a civilian firm want with 2,000 tons of dynamite? The Quartermaster General paced back and forth, clutching the dossier to his chest. If I had 2,000 tons of dynamite, I could equip an artillery corps for the year. I could fill warehouses with shells. It is regrettable, said the clerk, cautiously testing each word. A bidding frenzy has erupted over the material. Our current budget would buy us a fraction of what it should. Not ideal, thought the Quartermaster General, but survivable. Place the order and tell me the figure. I'll petition the cabinet for twice as much. Increasing supply will lift all boats. Extra explosives factories throughput. The industrial sector will make the best use of it. Extra mines throughput. The military must have their cut. Extra munitions plants throughput. I'm going to give it to the mines. I know that none of y'all are going to be shocked by that, since that's something I basically always do. Now, as our second Canadian army increases in size and strength, I'm actually going to put... Nah, I'm gonna let the railways be. We'll put them ahead of the government sector, but we'll let the railways get built as soon as they can, because I need them building. I wonder if there's a British company building a railway here. That's probably what's happening. All right. With that having been said, yeah, I think it's time to call it a night, my nerds. It is the beginning of 1869. We've had a very productive episode. We've built up a pretty rock-solid economy. More importantly, our liberty desire is now going up because we've built a stonking thick army, and because our overlords, the British, are, infamous. They're infamous. But that's not the only thing. I mean, it is the thing that's making a big factor of it. But like, getting our army power projection up and getting our national fervor up have both been important elements of making sure that we're able to get more autonomy. And if we can go up to being a dominion, that'll make me very happy. Other priorities, I want to get Newfoundland. That's just Newfoundland and Labrador. These are all technically one state in Victoria 3, and it's all called Newfoundland. But I'm pretty sure this is Newfoundland and Labrador. I'm pretty sure this is Labrador. If I'm not right, sound off in the comments. If you know better Canadian geography than me, you show it off in the comments section. If you're enjoying the series so far, drop a like, drop a subscription. It really helps the channel. Doesn't cost you anything. If you want to support me financially, there's a link to my Patreon in the description, so feel free to go ahead and check that out. You know I appreciate it. But yeah, that's all we got for tonight, my nerds. I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I'll see you on the other side.